Hello, and welcome to the Work and Wellbeing Podcast. Every other week, we'll be bringing you a different Research Says episode, where we look into fascinating scientific findings that can transform how we live and work. I'm Eileen, and today we're exploring something that might sound deceptively simple, but has profound implications for our mental health and workplace wellbeing: the power of reflection. In a recent conversation with Mick, who's a health and wellbeing manager at Balfour Beatty, he shared something that really stuck with me. He said the fundamentals of getting purpose, of getting value, and understanding the impact of what you're doing is investing time in reflection. It's a compelling idea, isn't it? That taking time to pause and reflect could be fundamental to finding meaning in our work. But is there actual evidence to back this up? Well, that's exactly what we're exploring today. What does the research say about reflection? Let's start with what happens in our brains when we reflect. You might think reflection is just a nice philosophical concept, but it turns out it has very real biological effects. A fascinating study published in the International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health in September 2021 found that interventions based on reflection on everyday situations significantly improve psychological well-being. The researchers conducted an experiment with 80 adults and discovered that those who completed specially prepared reflection diaries for just 1 week showed measurable improvements in their relationships with others and their sense of purpose in life. Now, what's particularly interesting is that the researchers found self-efficacy, belief in our ability to accomplish tasks and overcome challenges. It acted as a mediator between meaning in life and psychological well-being. In other words, reflection helps us recognize our own capabilities, which in turn enhances our sense of meaning and ultimately our well-being. But what's actually happening in our brains during this process? Well, this is where it gets really interesting. When we pause to reflect, particularly when we acknowledge progress or achievements, our brain releases serotonin. And that's a neurotransmitter that supports mood regulation. Now, according to research by Oxford University, which was published in Nature Communications in August 2024, serotonin changes how people learn and respond to negative information. The researchers found that increasing serotonin made individuals better able to control their behavior, particularly when exposed to negative information. And as Professor Catherine Harmer from Oxford put it, I love this quote, serotonin is often referred commonly as the happy chemical. But perhaps it is time we thought of it as the not so bad chemical. That's because it doesn't necessarily make us happy directly, but it does help us process negative experiences more effectively. Now, you might be thinking that's all well and good, but I work in a high pressure environment. I don't have time to sit around reflecting. And this is exactly what makes Mick's insights so valuable. He's worked in both military and construction environments, two settings not exactly known for their contemplative nature. Now, Mick shared a story that I found particularly powerful. He said, "My best mate has been in the Special Forces since 2012. When he passed selection, I remember him asking, 'What was the hardest part of your training?' And he really took me by surprise when he said, 'Not getting any feedback throughout the whole process.' They lost a lot of people who gave up because internally they were thinking they were doing a bad job." Now, for me, this highlights something crucial about reflection. It's not something we do alone. Feedback from others is a vital part of the reflection process. And the research backs this up too. A study published in the Academy of Management Journal in 2013 examined how both naturally occurring positive events and a positive reflection intervention affected stress and health outcomes. Because they found that reflection, especially when it involved processing feedback and positive experiences, was associated with reduced stress and improved health outcomes. The benefits of reflection are particularly evident in high-stress professions like healthcare. In May 2022, Nursing Times published research showing that reflective practice, which focuses on the emotional aspects of nursing, can significantly improve nurses' well-being and their mental health. The study also found that nurses who engaged in regular reflection reported lower burnout rates and greater job satisfaction. What's fascinating that the benefits weren't just psychological. Nurses who practiced reflection also showed improved clinical decision-making and patient care outcomes. The researchers concluded that reflection is paramount for safe, effective mental health treatment, noting that even in high-pressure environment of forensic psychiatry, making time for structured reflection improved both practitioner well-being and patient outcomes. Now, here's another interesting angle. Reflection combined with nature exposure seems to have particularly powerful effects. Psychology Today published an article in May 2025 by Jennifer Verdelin that explored how journaling about nature experiences provides science-backed psychological and physical benefits. Verdelin explains that combining two proven stress reduction techniques, so journaling and being outside, creates a powerful intervention for mental well-being. She wrote, one of the easiest and most accessible ways to reconnect with nature is to begin journaling about your experiences with the natural world. So what does all this research mean for us in our daily lives? How can we actually apply these findings? Leaders who facilitated structured reflection help team members identify meaningful goals, connect daily actions to larger purposes, and improve their performance outcomes. Even small, consistent practices can have significant effects. Taking time to pause, process our experiences, and connect them to that broader purpose isn't just a nice philosophical idea. It's a biologically supported practice that enhances our mental health, it improves our performance, and it helps us find meaning in our work. So I'm going to leave you with this challenge. Try incorporating just 5 minutes of intentional reflection into your workday. Notice what went well, what you learned, and how you grew. Maybe share your reflections with colleagues, ask for their perspectives. The research says it could transform not just how you feel about your work, but the actual biological processes in your brain that support your well-being. Thanks for listening to Work and Wellbeing. If today's conversation resonated with you, give us a rate or review on your favorite podcast platform, or subscribe to us on YouTube at Ripple&Co UK. It really helps the show grow and tells me these stories are landing with you.